Hello and welcome to K2AV's Make Pretend AV Setup Show. My name is Jasky, and what we do here is we have a theoretical client with a theoretical budget and some theoretical requirements, and we design a solution to best meet their needs. On today's episode, we have Sanjeev, who is the head of a boutique architectural firm here in Perth, Western Australia. They have a client who has taken over a new building space in the CBD. There's a heap of huddle spaces in this building. They want an audiovisual solution for those spaces. So I'll let Sanjeev describe those requirements for you, and let's get on with our show. Hi, I'm Sanjeev, and I run a boutique architectural firm here in Perth, Western Australia. We have a client who's taken over a CBD building space, and they have an assortment of huddle spaces because they've decided to create a flexible work and meeting environment. Anyone should be able to walk into this huddle space, be able to present using their laptop, but more importantly, be able to gather together and conference anywhere else in the building or conference outside to potential clients, suppliers, partners, whatever. And the conferencing needs to be able to use any software. We do not want to be tethered to Zoom, Teams, whatever. The client wants these huddle spaces very easy to use. They need to be a flexible space, meaning anyone can walk in at any time within a second, run a meeting, run a conference, and then walk away and be done within a few minutes. We also want to explore the option of having interactivity in these huddle spaces, meaning a whiteboarding function if anyone wants to have a quick brainstorm session, quick collaboration session between various staff, to be able to draw, interact, to be able to annotate, and then share those minutes with other people. That is an option we're exploring. Our budget for the audiovisual equipment in these huddle spaces is $5,000. Thanks, Sanjeev. Now, with the requirements being a bunch of huddle spaces in this building, a huddle space is essentially a space for about 4 to 5 people, the table butted up against the wall, as Sanjeev described, with a display that is used for presentation. Now, with these smaller spaces, a 55-inch display is adequate. In terms of brand, the ones we normally use for cost-effective and features is LG or Sony. Currently, Sony are a bit more cost-effective, so we would recommend that as an option for all the huddle spaces. As Sanjeev mentioned, anyone that enters our meeting in the huddle space needs to be able to conference out using Zoom, Teams, WebEx, whatever they desire. There are essentially 2 options. Firstly is the Crestron UC SB1 cam. This is a soundbar. So they function purely as a soundbar if you want to just play audio, if you want to plug in, have a video that you want everyone to watch in that meeting. It'll amplify that audio as a soundbar, but they also have all the conferencing capabilities with a camera and a microphone built in. Now, the camera is quite powerful, can capture quite a high definition image of the participants, and has several mics to be able to capture the audio very cleanly. Now, what the Crestron soundbar does, it does auto frame tracking. So if 2 people have sat down in the meeting, it'll track them and squeeze the frame to just have those 2 participants being seen by the far end. Say a 3rd person walks in, it'll notice the 3rd person who's joined the meeting and then stretch the frame to capture all those 3 participants. It never zooms in on anyone using voice tracking. It just captures whoever is in that frame. Distance-wise, it can capture up to 5 meters from where the soundbar is placed, so it's more than adequate for this space. And what we will do is essentially put a wall plate right near the display location, which has HDMI, USB. So if you come in with a laptop, boom, plug in your USB, start up whatever software you want, and that USB will then pick up the mic and camera from the Crestron soundbar, and off you go. You can run your conference, or with the HDMI, you can display and present something if you're just having a quick meeting and you don't need to conference out. Option 2 is the Poly Studio soundbar. Again, it's a video conferencing soundbar, has the camera, microphones built in, similar to the Crestron solution. The difference here is it does voice tracking. So depending on if there's one participant talking, it'll compress and move the frame to capture the person that's talking at the time. If 2 people are talking, it'll stretch the frame. And if the 3rd person starts talking and is on the other side of the table, it'll move accordingly to capture that person. The advantage of the Poly Studio is it has an expansion mic. So if the huddle space was bigger, you could put an expansion mic and capture someone or a group further away. With the Poly Studio option, you can turn that option off. With Crestron, you cannot. It'll always auto track. Now, with those two being the primary options and the way they work, we would recommend the Crestron option. One, because it's more cost effective, and two, because the way it captures the participants is a lot more fluid, accurate, and quicker and efficient than the Poly version. The other option we can recommend is to have a NUC PC in each huddle space. The advantage of this is not having to bring in a laptop, plug in a USB, and start your conference. The NUC is already ever present in that huddle space, so whoever comes in can walk in and you have a wireless keyboard, wireless mouse, plug in your credentials and run a conference, and off you go. And if you've got your files on a network, you can bring them up on the display. For the interactive screens, if you want to switch the LG or Sony displays that we recommended to being interactive, we would recommend the BenQ 55-inch interactive screen. This gives you the option of walking up, having a presentation, annotating over it. You've got an architectural map, you want to see a specific part of that building, draw, go back, share meeting minutes. It gives you that option. Even while you're conferencing, you can go up and interact so everyone in the huddle space can see what you're drawing. And all these huddle spaces will obviously run with a remote control. And that is our solution for Sanjeev, our architect who is designing these huddle spaces for his client. Each huddle space will fit within that $5,000 budget. There are several add-ons and things you can do depending on if each huddle space has different functionality and requirements. But that is the end of the episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. I need to stop doing the thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching.